So imagine you've inherited an Excel file that just has a mess of errors and numbers all over the place, and you're trying to make heads and tails of what you have. So, in this video I'll show you how to count and find different types of errors. So let's jump over to the first sheet. We have two sheets, data 1 and data 2, and they both have a mess of errors and numbers in here. So I created a simple conditional formatting. I'm going to click this little box and it will show me all the errors highlighted in red. Now you might think that I missed a few, but the thing is, the conditional formatting distinguishes between a real error produced by a formula and a text error that we have here. So I've seen this myself many times. There's a mix of them. So this will come up later on in the video, but just note that the same thing in data 2. If I click this, you see which ones are the real errors produced by a formula and an error that is just a text that could have been copied and pasted as a value. So let's jump to our error summary, and I'm going to start up here. This array formula is saying if our data area is an error, so if is error this area here, give me a 1. Else, if it's not an error, give me a 0, and simply the sum function is adding up all the errors. Now, there's 282, but we know that in this sheet, data 1, there's a mix of errors from formulas and errors that are text. So let's distinguish that. In this cell, I'm going one step further and I'm saying if is error, this area in here, and then the asterisk means and also if it's a formula, so the area also has to be a formula. Then give me a 1, else give me a 0. Now, I think, I could be wrong, but I think the is formula is a new function in 2013. So if you have an older version, it might not work. But this is also an array formula, and you notice how it's 10 less, 282, 272, because the values also have to be a formula. And then over here, just to sort of add it all up again, I'm saying not is formula. So adding up these two is 282, the same as we have here. And I did the same thing, of course, for the next sheet, data 2. However, we can go one step further. What if you want to distinguish between the different error types? Maybe you realize that the NA error is going to come up a lot because it's the sum values in a VLOOKUP or a match simply aren't found. So I created this formula to use the rare but useful ERROR.TYPE function. So if that range, the error type is equal to C20, because all the different errors, they actually have a corresponding number. So you see all the error types in Excel, and then the number is over here. So I'm just using the 7 that I typed into the cell. And so if error type, all of these values equals C20 and is formula, then give me a 1, else give me a 0. So that's just basically, if we were to add up all of these, that's going to give us 272, which is the same as this number over here. So really we're just taking this 272 and drilling down into all the different error types. And then one step beyond that, to find these errors, so what I did was I kind of took the array and I also added the hyperlink function to it, so that when I click this X, it's going to go to sheet data 1 to the first name NA error, not applicable error. So of course it goes to the very first one that has the NA. I come back here, if I click on this X, it's going to take me to the first name error, which is just a little off the screen. Here it is. And of course the same thing works over here. Let's go to a div error. The first div error, so this is the div error in sheet data 2. I click that and it jumps there. So there's no programming. All these things are possible with simple formulas.